Hold on.
I cut the piece.
Okay.
You take a look at it.
Okay.
The one graphic you had where it said like 14 degrees and then
Yeah, and then
or 14%. It looks like the 14%. Did you make that?
Well, hi everyone. Thanks for watching us here on our Facebook page, on CBS19 Plus, and on our YouTube channel. You might have heard a little behind the scenes discussion I have going on with Alan Casper about tomorrow night's Hooked on East Texas. We are discussing and looking into the environmental impacts on freshwater mussels on the Sabine River. A group of University of Texas at Tyler researchers did a study where they put freshwater mussels under certain stresses of temperatures to see how they would react. And we have the results of that study coming up tomorrow night on CBS 19 News. That'll be at 6 o'clock on Hooked on East Texas. All right, speaking of waters, these are some of the photos we got in today. Ross Hayes from Lake Palestine. This is a great shot here. And he sends this in because the water is spilling over the spillway, for lack of a better term. It's happened a couple times here in the last year, but you might recall at some points in the summer and the spring, the water is not flowing over the spillway. When it's flowing over the spillway, the lake is at full pool or a little bit above. Usually means that we've had some decent rains lately, and so that's where we stand right now. Then I got this fantastic photo here from James Lowe in Jacksonville. This is the full flower moon. This was on Monday night as the moon was creeping behind these gorgeous leaves here. Nice silhouette of the moon behind that. A very bright night on Monday night. A very cool night then also, not like it was yesterday. Full sunshine. And Matt Reed down in Nacogdoches has this special solar lens that he aimed at the sun and got the full disc. And then these little things here are going to be called solar prominences, which are essentially plasma that are ejecting or flowing away from the sun's corona. You can see the little bright line there. So fabulous pictures here from James, Matt, and Ross. Appreciate you guys sending those photos in. Remember, you can email any weather photos you want to weather@cbs19.tv. All right, here's a time lapse for today. So we expected or thought we might set a new record high of 96, breaking the old record of 95 set back in 1901. It did not happen today, and you're looking at why. We had a lot of high-level cloud cover and almost the appearance of some dust in the atmosphere. Watch as the sun sets, how the little dust particles and the ice crystals sort of scatter out the sunlight and make the sun's disk look very large. And then look at that brownish kind of color at the tail end of that. So that indicates we had some dust in the atmosphere, the high-level clouds that all kept today's high from reaching the record high. So we made it up to 90 in Tyler, which, believe it or not, 2 degrees cooler than yesterday. Groveton and Crockett also made it up to 90. Longview managed to make it to 90 degrees. Marshall made it to 90. The warmest spots were Mount Pleasant and Linden at 91 degrees. Dallas, 92 officially. Denton, 99. Fort Worth, 95 degrees. Waxahachie up to 89 degrees. So those high clouds really played a role. And again, this is a little heat. I'm not going to call it a heat wave because technically, according to the National Weather Service definition says a heat wave is 2 or more consecutive days of highs of 92 or above. That includes the northern states. That includes New York, Minnesota, Ohio. If we really think about a heat wave here in Texas, think about this. Our average high in the middle of summer is like 96, 97 degrees. Why would we call every day a heat wave? So here, we almost have to wait till the temperature gets to 100 in July and August before we really experience what we would think of as a heat wave. So there's another definition that says you have to have 2 or more days of unusually warm or above average temperatures. So that fits our definition a little bit better as we get deeper into summer. Because if we do have highs around 100 degrees, that's above average, and that can stretch on and on. All that to say, the last couple of days have been pretty warm after a cooler start to May. In fact, we had 10 days out of the first 12 where the temperatures were below average, and now we've tacked on 2 above average days. And we're likely going to attach probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 days all the way up to Tuesday with above average temperatures. So quite the turnaround in a short period of time. Right now, sun is setting on this very warm and muggy day. I think today will be more remembered for the humidity than, let's say, the heat. It really was. The humidity today was summer-like. We had dew points soaring to the mid-70s. And so when you have all of that moisture in the atmosphere, it just takes a lot more of the sun's energy to heat moist air. Dry air warms up and cools down a lot faster than when the air has some saturation to it. 78 right now at Marshall, 82 at Henderson, 81 at Nacogdoches, 82 over in Palestine, 84 at Tyler, and 80 at Longview. So it's pretty muggy out there. Tonight only down to about 68, 69 degrees, Henderson, Carthage, 73 at Gilmer and Tyler, 71 Groveton, and Crockett, St. Augustine down to about 71 degrees. So it's going to be warm and muggy. We're going to stay warm and muggy for the next several days. Keep an eye on this high pressure system. This is an upper level high pressure system parked at about 18,000 feet. And so it's going to sit there and it's really not going to move. So there's a storm system that moves across the Great Lakes, some severe weather later this week there. For us, we're watching that low pressure area out in the Rockies, and it basically gets held at bay because look where that high went between tomorrow and Sunday. Not much movement. Might have moved a few hundred miles out into the central portion of the Gulf, and that's about it. Finally, it does begin to stretch and weaken, allowing a storm system to move now into the central plains. And where you see these lines dividing, we call that divergence. When there's divergence aloft, then winds can collect at the surface. And then where does that air go? Well, it has nowhere to go but up. And so as that warm air rises, it cools, condenses into clouds. If you get a mechanism of uplift, like a cold front or strong low pressure area, a dry line, an outflow boundary, you get showers and thunderstorms that form. So Tuesday, it looks like we could have some more widespread showers and thunderstorms. In the meantime, pretty darn warm here. Tomorrow and Friday, lower 90s. Saturday, still warm and muggy, around 90 degrees. Sunday, 92. Monday, 89 degrees. And the humidity has parked itself on the high side, and it's just going to sit there through Monday. So ample moisture next week, by the way, for showers and thunderstorms. There's also ample moisture around Saturday, and there is a suggestion in some of the data that we could see maybe a little ripple of energy come through Saturday evening that would bring us a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow, the models try to hint at maybe a little weak shower riding along Interstate 30. Otherwise, it's warm and muggy. Friday morning, it's just gray, muggy. It is windy, breezy to almost windy through all of this stretch too, through Friday. Then watch what happens here. So we have a cluster of showers and thunderstorms moving toward Interstate 45 at 7:30. Sun sets at about 8:10. So these may be driven a little bit by the daytime heating. And then as they move closer to East Texas, they fall apart. Maybe some gusty winds over toward Emory, Athens, Palestine, and Crockett as those thunderstorms just kind of fade away. But nothing else here in East Texas. Then Saturday afternoon, we're reloading the atmosphere. We got a lot of sunshine, should have a lot of energy, potential energy, ready to just pop in case we get a thunderstorm. We'll see how that plays out. Sunday, this is a slight risk of severe weather. That's over north central Texas, stretching all the way up to Wichita by Monday, and then it should extend or move closer to East Texas by Tuesday. The pollen counts have been up thanks to all this warmth and humidity. Pollen loves the warm, humid conditions, and so mold spores on the high side today will likely be on the high side again tomorrow. Summer-like lows tonight will help to drive those pollen counts. So tomorrow, upper 70s at 9 a.m., 85 at noon, 88 by 4 p.m. under partly cloudy skies. And the high temperatures tomorrow from the 70s are going to be warming up here. We're going to show you right through noon. So at noon, we're in the mid-80s, upper 80s at Tyler, Henderson at 83, Nacogdoches at 83, Mount Pleasant up to 87. That's at noon. We get into the afternoon, and the high temperature warms a few more degrees. 91 to 92 for Tyler, 89 to 90 in Longview, 93 at Nacogdoches. Looks a little hotter from Crockett and Groveton back to the west over central parts of Texas. All right, rain chances. I don't think there's a chance of rain tomorrow. If there is, it's 10% or less, and I typically don't post anything that's at 10%. 20% is where I like to think that we actually have a chance to see an isolated shower or thunderstorm. So Friday there is a chance with that those thunderstorms coming in from the west and falling apart. Saturday evening there's a chance for some gusty thunderstorms. Isolated thunderstorms Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, more widespread chance for rain. All right, so this is going to be a wider view of this. This is going to be slightly lower resolution data than what I showed you before. So the thing to keep in mind here is it's going to show you a general idea where it could rain, and perhaps we could have a few thunderstorms. So when you see those green areas and they might be blobby like this, it doesn't mean this entire area is raining all at once, but it does suggest that in those areas, especially where we see those oranges and yellows, that there is a pretty decent chance for thunderstorms. That would be Friday through Arkansas up into Missouri. Saturday evening, here we go. So we may have kind of a cluster of showers and thunderstorms. Best chance will be closer to the Arklatex, but that extends down toward Waco. That moves across, but notice how it's weakening. And then we get into Sunday morning, and we'll see if we can recharge the atmosphere for Sunday afternoon. In the meantime, between now and next Wednesday, the most active area for rain and thunderstorms is certainly going to be Dallas, Sherman, Wichita Falls, up in this area, and then across the Arklatex, southeastern Oklahoma, through the Ozark Mountains, down into the Ouachitas. We'll see a couple of, again, probably Saturday night. A lot of this is going to be owed to Saturday night, and then maybe Tuesday evening with showers and thunderstorms moving in. So tonight, partly cloudy, summer-like, breezy southwest winds, 10 to 20 miles an hour, down to 73 degrees. Tomorrow, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. I'm telling you, 91 isn't bad. That's doable, but when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like it's about 95 to 98. Here's your Bill of Scott and White, Texas Spine and Joint Hospital 10-day forecast. And again, a few thunderstorms Saturday, certainly possible, more likely in the evening. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 92. And then 89 on Monday as clouds are in the increase in the morning and then decrease by the afternoon. And then that sets us up for a chance for evening thunderstorms Tuesday, a high of 88. Slightly cooler on Wednesday. That's still a little bit above average. In fact, it takes till next Friday, so about 9 days before we see temperatures near average here in East Texas. So there you go, a warm, muggy middle part of May. So we kind of have to deal with that. May, of course, we have to remember that it is the month where we see the highest increase in average humidity throughout the month. And also we start getting closer and closer to summer. Meteorological summer starts on June 1st. The astronomical calendar and summer starts around June 21st. All that to say, with this warm and humid weather on the way, as my old friend Gary Amble used to say, stay as cool as you can. Have a great night, everyone.